Greetings gamers! One of the questions I am frequently getting from my friends in party chat and from Twitter is, I do not have a 4K TV, how does Xbox Scorpio benefit me? Or the reverse on that is, I do not have a 4K TV, Xbox Scorpio will be no use to me. So guys, Xbox, Microsoft and Digital Foundry have actually talked about this. Now I will put a link in the description below so you can go and check out the original video, but this is all the information that Digital Foundry has released regarding backwards compatibility and how it's going to affect your games running on Project Scorpio. So let's just jump straight into it. First thing guys is there is 5 areas where your back compatibility games will benefit from running Project Scorpio. So the first area guys is, now they have gone out and said that you are not going to be expecting your Xbox Scorpio to start playing your 30 frame rate per second games like Destiny for example at 60 frames a second unless there is a patch by the developer. However, what you will get is your games playing at that target frame rate. So, for example, bringing up Titanfall, the original. There were scenes in that where you would actually run around in your mechs, you would do the nuclear ejection, and it would just incinerate the frame rate. Now, obviously, Titanfall 2 handles this a lot better, the game runs a lot better, but there is still that frame rate drop. I'm just using Titanfall as the example because it was such an extreme case. With Project Scorpio, it is likely that Scorpio will be able to handle those nuclear ejections in Titanfall, the original, a lot better. Subsequently, you won't get the frame rate bottoming out or dropping out, and you will more likely get that 30, 60, whatever it may be, frames per second as a constant. Now, they also went through and talked about screen tearing as well. They did say that Xbox Scorpio is likely to remove the screen tearing that happens from games when obviously the frame rate starts to drop out. The computer or the Xbox decides to try and boost that frame rate by dropping the resolution. You are less likely to get that because the Xbox Scorpio has a lot more power and it's designed, obviously, it's going to be designed a lot better to handle high intensive graphic games. Now, to give you an idea of exactly to show you what we're talking about here, the Digital Foundry also put a video where they were doing a Xbox versus an Xbox One S. They were playing a racing car game, and you could actually see that the Xbox One S was handling the graphics a lot better while it's still playing the same game. So obviously, if the Xbox One S can do it, then obviously Project Scorpio is definitely going to be able to do it, considering it's even a more performance-based machine. So that's pretty cool. Now, the next example, guys, is dynamic resolution scaling. Okay, so basically games like Doom, Halo, Witcher 3 all use this technique. Now, all these games actually trade pixels for frame rate. So at the end of the day, having a more powerful processor, GPU, memory, etc. should allow it to have a more high-res screen rate. So what does that mean exactly? Well, these games, you would expect them to run at their highest resolution. Now, like I say, to give you an example what I mean, Gears of War 4, for example, runs this same technique. If the frame rate on that is starting to drop, it will decrease the resolution to combat that. Now, running on Project Scorpio means that it should actually allow it to run at 1080p, whatever it may be, and run at the full screen resolution without compensating for screen res for frame rate. So it'd be interesting to see how those sort of things. Number 3 benefit, guys, is texture filtering. Now, texture filtering is the background images, like for example, Forza Horizon 6. They showed an example here, and I'll put a clip here. If you play it on the Xbox One, you can sort of see the background lines on the ground look a little bit distorted. Now, if they go through and put it up to the Xbox Scorpio stats, it looks a lot clearer. Now, obviously, this is a still photo, or not a still photo, but a standard shot. There's no movement or anything like that. But the Xbox Scorpio should be able to handle this with quite ease. which means that you'll have a lot better backgrounds and the images and that won't look so muddy. So that's kind of cool as well. Update number 4, guys, is the media block in the processor for Xbox Scorpio. Now, this is hugely beneficial for anybody that runs game DDR. Basically, what it means is that while it will default at 1080p, you can actually push that puppy all the way up to 4K. Now, it will be using a new type of compression that is going to be the new standard for 4K compression. So guys, you will be able to have that beautiful capture. Also guys, there is a new feature on this as well, which will allow you to go frame by frame to allow you to get those perfect screenshots. So similar to what you can do with obviously Premiere Pro and all those sort of programs. But yeah, basically allow you to go through, get that perfect screenshot that you want and use that for your thumbnails. So that's kind of cool. Now the 5th thing, guys, is load times. Yes, your load times are actually derived from 2 things. Your processor and your disk, or your hard disk, that is. The first way this is going to change is normally the way that you get your data is from a disk. It's streamed from the disk through to the processor, and then obviously it's worked by the processor. The higher the processor, the faster it'll be able to decode that information and obviously load the game. The second way that it's actually faster, guys, involves the hard drive bandwidth on Project Scorpio is actually 50% wider than it is on Xbox One. Now, this is to obviously combat for 4K, but because you're not going to be, if you're not using 4K, you're still running 1080p, you are still going to get that benefit because it's still running through the same pipeline. And the last thing, guys, that is going to impact on your load times is more memory. To give you an idea, the old Xbox One had 5 gigs of memory available for games. 5 for games, 3 for OS. The Xbox Scorpio is actually going to have 8. Yes, so you'll be able to access 8 gigs, or the developers will be able to access 8 gigs of memory for games and allowing 4 for the OS. This also technically should mean that the operating system on Xbox Scorpio should be a lot faster than what it is on the Xbox One. However, that is obviously something we'll have to test when it comes out. However, all this said, there is one issue that can arise from running your Xbox One and 360 games on Project Scorpio. And guys, Digital Foundry have stressed that it is a tiny amount of games, and there is a fix for that. So, what's the issue? So, on the PlayStation 4, you have what they call boost mode. Original, I know. Basically, guys, if you turn that action on or turn that option on, it warns you that this can cause issues with certain types of games. Now, obviously, with the PlayStation, you can turn this option on and off. So if you do have small issues with games running boost mode, you turn it off and it runs like a standard PlayStation 4. The problem is that Xbox Scorpio is designed differently, and that option isn't available for Project Scorpio. So what they've done is they've gone through and reviewed every single game. I know that'd be painful. Basically, guys, what this means is that in certain games you might have a dial down in graphics, you might have a dial down in CPU, whatever it may be that is triggering this error to happen, they will obviously compensate that and release that as a patch. Now, obviously, guys, this is something that you won't even need to worry about. This is something that Microsoft is going to handle, or the devs will handle. But it's like, for example, if you go through and you're playing on a PC, for all those PC gamers that listen to me, if you go through and try and run something like the original XCOM on a brand new computer, it shits itself. Too much power, game can't handle it. So guys, it's obviously the same sort of thing for that, allowing you to go through, and obviously what they'll do is they'll just compensate for it and allow it to obviously play. Now, like I said, they have stressed it is a tiny percentage of games that will actually affect this, and it's something that you won't even have to worry about, something that the devs and Microsoft are going to handle. So that's kind of cool. Now guys, like I said, I have put a link in the description below to the original Digital Foundry video. It goes in a little bit more detail than what I have tonight, But what I've given you is the basics of what they're talking about. So obviously, please feel free to go check that out. It is in the description, and also I'll try and add it as an annotation. Not sure if I can do that, but I'll try. Apart from that, guys, if this video has been helpful, please smack a like and share. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. And apart from that, guys, I'll see you playing games. Have a great night and enjoy.